Hey, good afternoon, everyone. We are going to get started with our 45-minute practice today. For me, in the past, it is Friday. It may be Monday, maybe Wednesday for you of next week, or way in the future. Either way, welcome. I'm happy to be with you today. And we are going to get started by coming into a seated meditation posture. So whatever way that's comfortable for you. Maybe you would like to bring a pillow or a blanket up underneath the hips to help elevate them above the knees. That's great. In fact, I think I'm going to do that today. So if you would like to take a moment to grab some sort of prop, that would be lovely. I thought I heard a little kitty over to my left. So I'm going to grab a folded blanket that works best for my body. But a pillow or even a block if you have one would be perfect as well. And let's start to drop into the breath, inhaling in through the nose, down into the belly. Seeing if we can dip right into stillness, resisting that itch in your nose or movements of your hair, tucking in your shirt. If you do feel like you need to do those things in order to make yourself comfortable to sit in our meditation, that's fine. But let's see if that's something that we actually need or just something that we think we need. Maybe we start to tap into how the body is feeling today, making note of what feels really great, what feels loose and open, accepting, soft, strong. Stormy, I'm so sorry about the cats. And maybe you start to notice areas that feel a little bit more stiff or irritated, maybe a little scratchy, no pun intended. Maybe you have an area that is in acute distress and it is calling out for your attention. If that is the case, please don't feel that you need to push through or ignore the pain. Please use your meditation to give that area some attention. If you haven't already, let's make our exhales longer than our inhales, sticking with the breath through the nostrils. Sending the inhale all the way down to the belly button and beyond to the lower corners of the abdomen. Exhale, belly button draws back and lifts. So we let the shoulders sink away from the ears, softening shoulder blades down the back body on the exhale. Your next inhale, let's send the breath down into the belly and then beyond, down through the root, through the tail, down into the earth. And exhale, we're lifting from the earth, back through the tail, through the abdomen, diaphragm lifts, shoulders soften on the exhale. So inhale, the breath goes all the way down, past the root, connecting to the earth. Exhale, pulls up from the earth, up through the midline, maybe kissing up between the brows before exiting the mouth or nose. Let's do a few more times just like that. Inhale, down the midline, through the roots, into the earth. Exhale, lifting up from the earth, through the abdomen, diaphragm, heart space, throats, maybe all the way up to the brows, third eye, before exiting out through the nose or mouth. And if none of that resonates with you, just focus on sending your breath down into the belly and softening on your exhales. Let's take one more big breath together. Big inhale. Long exhale. Let's keep our eyes closed as we drop our chin to the chest and just start to take some gentle neck rolls. Taking the ear, left ear over to the left shoulder maybe. Chin through center, right ear over to the right shoulder. Maybe you start to incorporate the abdomen, drawing the belly button back towards the spine and rounding through the back as you come through center. Taking right ear to right shoulder. Maybe you get a nice intuitive rhythm with the hands on the knees, starting to make these bigger half circles with the back body. Next time the right ear is over the right shoulder, we'll take the belly button over towards the left thigh, sending the chest through center to complete the circle. Belly comes over the right thigh, rounding through. We drop the chin to the chest. Belly button over left thigh as we open the chest right in front of the knees, full circle. Belly button comes over the right thigh as we round through the back, dropping the chin, completing the circle. Hips stay nice and heavy. So here we go. A little torso twist to get our spine warmed up today. Keeping the eyes closed. So we have a solid foundation here. Let's use that to turn inward. Use this as a practice to be a little intuitive with the body. The next time you're at the back end of your circle, we'll pause so that we can switch it in the opposite direction. Belly button comes first over to the right, and then sweeping through center to round through and back. Taking whatever pace feels good for you today. My pace feels a little slow, mindful, really paying attention to the vertebrae in my spine, connection, my legs to my hips. Tightness in the side of my neck. Let's take 2 more rounds here. You start to feel some activity in the abdomen, the internal organs. That's okay. We're literally massaging the internal organs here. So next time you're at the back end of your circle, we'll gently sit up nice and tall, coming back to our meditation pose. Inhale, let's reach arms up overhead, biceps are by the ear. Maybe you look up at your palms, the space right between the fingers. Exhale, we flip the palms towards the front as we start to stabilize in the legs. So knees come nice and heavy. We start to bend at the hips as we drape the hands down the front body, letting them connect with the earth so that we can walk ourselves down into a surrender pose. Maybe forearms come down to the mat or down to the ground. And we drop our gaze straight down. Maybe we full surrender, releasing the crown towards the earth. Maybe you would like to stack palm over palm or fist over fist to rest the forehead. Noticing your connection in the hips with your foundation, whether that's a blanket, a pillow, or your mat. In your next exhale, we'll gently use the strength in our arms to walk us back up to our seated position. Left hand comes down to the earth, right next to the left hip. We reach right arm up towards the ceiling, then over towards the left side of the mat. Big inhale here. If it feels natural to walk the left hand out a little further away from the body, that's okay. One more inhale. On your exhale, we're to stay nice and low as we sweep the right arm out in front of the body. Excuse me. Swinging right on through like we did with our circles through the midline before we drop the right arm over to the left, reaching left arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, left arm reaches over towards the right. It feels natural to walk that right arm out in space, maybe dropping down on the forearm. Left hip stays nice and heavy. Gaze can be out in front, bicep by the ear. Maybe gaze is up towards the ceiling, making sure we're not dumping weight in the neck. Or maybe gaze is turned down right to the right forearm. One more inhale. Exhale, we sweep left arm back through center before coming up the way we started, using our hands to walk us upright. Excellent. We're going to unravel now, coming on to our mats, or excuse me, removing our props so that we can come right down onto our mat. Let's turn our gaze towards the front edge of the mat. We're going to square off hips and shoulders, coming into a tabletop position. When we do get there, we're going to keep with this theme of circles. So the great thing about a home practice, we've talked about this before, is unless you're doing this with someone else in your home, there's no one there to watch you. I can't see you. There's no class setting, no one next to you that you need to worry about or be insecure about. So we are going to take advantage of that and loosen up a little bit with some hip circles. So first we're coming into our tabletop position, and we'll start with just that. We tuck the tail, maybe moving the hips towards the right first before dropping the hips towards the mat, coming through center, and then bringing them over to the left to complete your circle. Feel free to close the eyes. See how this feels. Maybe you stay with these nice little circles, really in a tabletop position, or maybe you start making your circles a little bit bigger, dropping the hips all the way down to the heels. Maybe chest comes a little bit forward. Maybe you start incorporating the neck, making figure 8 shapes with the body. Either way, we're just signaling to the spine that we can wake it up. Start moving that fluid around, reminding it that it can move in many different ways. Once you're at the back end of your circle, we'll pause to take it in the opposite direction. If this feels a little weird, that's okay. Close the eyes, be intuitive, and feel your way through the movement. Things start to pop and crack. That's okay. Guess what? That means you're human. Take one more circle here, moving at your own pace. Actually, let's do one more. When you are back at the top of the circle, we'll drop the belly, gaze forward, cow pose. Tail lifts. Exhale, we press into the tops of the feet, curl the tail towards the belly button, rounding through for cat. Perfect timing for the cat to be walking at the back of my mat. Inhale, drop the belly, open the chest. Exhale, we round through. It's really squeeze, pressing away from the yoga mat, tucking the tail. One more breath, big inhale. And exhale, we start to walk the hand back towards the knees, running the fingertips up the front of the thighs as we start to roll our way up into a kneeling position. Pose, arms come up overhead, wide V. We're active in the glutes, not squeezing them, but enough to draw the hips in line with the knees. Shoulder blades squeeze together and then melt down the back body. Big inhale. Exhale, we start to sink the hips. We're active in the abdomen, sinking the hips. Chest starts to float down towards the mats as we drop the hands, coming into prayer position or modified child's pose, dropping the forehead to the mat. Inhale, we press into the tops of the feet, tuck the tail, clawing through the fingertips, drawing ourselves back up through tabletop, and then sending the hips down towards the mat, shoulders above the wrists, arms are straight, high cobra. Chest is open, gaze is forward. One more inhale. Exhale, we lower all the way down to the mat. Chin kisses the earth. Maybe we adjust the hands. We curl the toes. Exhale presses us up to tabletop or plank before transitioning to downward facing dog. Big inhale. Exhale, we come up onto the toes before dropping the knees, immediately dropping the belly, gazes forward, tail lifts. Let's do that little dance one more time. Exhale, tucking the tail, really pressing away from the yoga mat. For cat, we're here for 2 more breaths. Exhale, we start to walk the hands back towards the knees, abdomen's engaged. We tuck the tail as we start to roll our way up. Arms come out wide, V. Shoulder blades squeeze together and then drop down the back body. Hips are in line with the knees. We lift from the chest as to not compress the low back. Big inhale. Exhale, abdomen engages as we start to sink the hips back towards the heels as we start to bow the chest forward. Biceps stay by the ears. Heels touch hips, hands drop, forehead drops. Prayer position. Exhale, we press into the tops of the feet, claw through the fingertips, tuck the tail, coming up into tabletop position and transitioning all the way through, hips sink down to the mat, chest is open, gazes forward, arms are straight, high cobra, or you can bend the arms for cobra. Exhale, we lower all the way, chin kisses, maybe forehead tucks down to the earth, adjusting the hands if we need to. Big inhale. Exhale, we press and make our way up to downward facing dog, whatever feels the best way for you to do that today. Let's pause and take a moment here in stillness. One more breath cycle. And let's take a slow walk up to our mountain pose today. So maybe crisscross walk, right leg crosses in front of the left leg over to the left side of the mat. We pause here for a breath. Exhale, weight transitions into the right leg as we draw the left leg in front of the right over to the right side of the mat. Pausing for a breath. Weight shifts into the left foot as we draw the right foot out towards the right in front of the left leg across to the left side of the mat. Crisscross. Pause. Last one. Exhale, left swings out to the left side of the mat, crossing in front of the right before we find our position. Forward fold. Taking a moment to hang, maybe swing side to side. Maybe we shake the head, yes.
And then no. Bend the knees as much as you need to. And then we find a moment of stillness. If you do have some movement, some swaying. And next, inhale, root to rise, rolls us right up to mountain.
Arms come with us up overhead. Palms kiss together, descending at the heart space. And we pause. Big inhale. A long, slow exhale. Here we go. Arms go down to come up. We look up, palms kiss together. Exhale, we start to fold forward. Inhale lifts us halfway, fingers on the shins, the tops of the thighs, or fingertips on the ground. Exhale, fold. Hands come down to the mat. Let's step just the left foot back. Gaze is forward. You can always drop the back leg or the back knee. Gaze is forward, chin jutting out in front of the toes, or gaze is straight down right in front of the toes. One more breath. Exhale, we power through that front foot, rising up into high lunge. Biceps are by the ears. Big inhale. Exhale, we pivot on the back foot, opening up to warrior two, wrists come in line with the shoulders, arms extend, one towards the front of the mat, and back towards the back edge of the mat. We hold here for 2 breaths. Your next exhale, we send the front arm up, back arm drops, peaceful warrior. Exhale, extended side angle, your version. Exhale, coming back into peaceful warrior. Exhale, we pivot back down into our lunge. We pause, gaze is forward. Inhale, and on the exhale, we're pulling that back leg up to meet the right. So we're not dragging the foot, but instead lifting, bending at the knee and stepping up till we meet back again in a forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. We roll our way up to mountain. Arms come with us up overhead, palms kiss together and descend at the heart space. Arms go down to come up. Exhale, we dive into our forward fold. Inhale lifts us up halfway. Exhale, we fold.
Exhale, right foot steps back this time.
Coming into our lunge. We're sending the breath down into the hips. Belly and chest are right next to the left thigh. Gaze is forward or straight down. And play around with either and figure out which one feels good for you. Maybe it feels good, different on this side, and something else or a different position, feels better on this side. One more big inhale, exhale, we're powering up. And then we settle. Bring the pelvis right underneath the heart space. We're strong in that front leg, sending the back heel towards the back edge of the mat. One more inhale. Exhale, we pivot on the back foot, opening up warrior two. One more inhale here. Exhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Your version. Exhale, we power back through peaceful warrior. Exhale, we windmill. Coming back into our lunge. Inhale. Exhale, we're drawing that back leg up to meet the front, so buoyancy in the back knee. We lift the back foot and step it up to meet the left. Forward fold.
Inhale, root to rise. We roll our way up to mountain. Arms come with us up overhead, palms kiss together. Just looking at the heart space. Arms go down to come up. Exhale, we fold. Inhale lifts us halfway. Exhale, we fold. Fingertips come down to the mat. We step just the left foot back. We're in our lunge. Gaze comes forward. Inhale. And on the exhale, we lift the hips up, starting to straighten the front leg. So we're lifting hips up and slightly back as we straighten the front leg. Maybe you need to come all the way up onto the back toes. Maybe you have the back leg lowered, and this looks like the half split that we do, toes up towards the ceiling. Maybe we bow forehead to the knee. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, both hands come to the inside of the right arch as we lift the right toes and pivot. Both toes over to the long edge of the left side of the mat, starting to make our way into a wide-legged forward fold. Toes come to the midline. Heels are rotated away from the body. We're pressing into the outer edge of the foot, lifting from the arches, active through the midline. Hips reach up towards the sky as the crown drops. Maybe the palms come down to the mat. Maybe you're still up on the fingertips.
Take big breaths, sending the breath to the backs of the legs, the low back, groin, softening on each exhale. One more big inhale. And on the exhale, we come up onto the fingertips and start to shift the weight over into our right leg. We can keep the hips nice and high here. Maybe we lift the left toes up towards the ceiling. Exhale, we're taking the hips up and over through the midline. Weight comes into the left foot. Maybe we lift the right toes up towards the ceiling. Hips come up and over, up and over. And we come back to the midline, dropping the crown, palms or fingertips come down to the mat. One more big inhale. Exhale. We start to pivot both toes towards the back edge of the mat. So left leg's in front this time as we walk our hands coming into our lunge facing the back edge of the mat on the other side. One more breath. Exhale, we start to lift the hips up and back, straightening that front leg. Maybe you need to shorten your stance. Maybe you come up high on the back toes. Maybe you lower that back knee and come into a half split this way in a supported. One more breath. Exhale, we'll give a little buoyancy in the front knee. As both hands come to the inside of the left arch, we pivot the toes back the way that we came, maybe in a forward fold for one more breath. Slow exhale. Fingertips come down to the mat as we shift the weight forward just slightly so that we can heel toe, the feet a little closer together, but a little bit wider than hip width apart. This time, heels are pointed towards the midline, toes are pointed away from the body. Big inhale, and on the exhale, we start to trace the knees along the line of the big toe, sending the hips down in between the heels. Maybe they don't reach that far and you need to stay forward a little bit onto the toes using the hands for support. Maybe you take your blanket that we used at the beginning of practice and bring it up underneath the heels. Or maybe you do send the tail all the way down to the ground. Elbows come to the insides of the knees. Hands together at the heart space as we send the heart right towards the thumbs. Take one more breath together here. Big inhale. Exhale, front hand drops, one hand drops to the front, one to the back as we let ourselves come down onto the bum, rotating feet to face the front of the mat if they were not already, and we start to recline, coming into a supine position. When you get there, we'll draw knees up towards the chest, fingers interlace around the shins. You can see him, Little Prince, Oliver has joined us at the back of the room on the blue couch. He will not be a regular guest of our yoga practice, but him and his sister are here for a visit. Animals are a great addition to your wellness routine. We just finished reading about all of the healing benefits and powers of the purring of cats. One scientist said that the Hertz level, the purr of a cat, is the same as the level of unconditional love. One more breath here. Exhale, left foot drops. We keep the right knee pulled up towards the chest, sending the left leg out long. We can go ahead and drop the heel all the way down to the mat. We're going to keep it nice and gentle today. Right knee squeezes towards the right shoulder. Exhale, left hand guides right knee across the midline over to the left side of the mat. Right arm comes out long at our side, half T, deep twist, reclined, supported twist. Both shoulders are pinned down to the mat. We feel the earth rise up to meet the body, supporting us. Big inhale. On the exhale, we feel the muscles melting away from the bone. We allow everything to soften. Just like the beginning of practice, if you feel or hear any activity in the abdomen, it's totally normal. We massage all the internal organs here. One more inhale. Exhale, belly button to spine. So we draw the knee back through the midline, nice and slow. We drop the right sole. Left knee comes into the midline, or excuse me, up towards the chest. Right leg sends out long, dropping the heel. We tug left knee towards left shoulder. Big inhale. Exhale, we take left leg across the midline over to the right. Left arm comes out wide, half T at our side. Both shoulders stay pinned down to the mat. So we start to soften, giving permission to the muscles to stop supporting us in this posture. Notice how we are supported by our mat, by the earth, allowing the muscles to melt away from the bone.
One more breath, cycle. On your next exhale, belly button pulls back to the spine as we bring that left leg through the midline, sending it out towards the front of the mat to meet the right. Hands come to a wide position at the sides, or maybe they feel better, palms face down on the abdomen. Maybe one hand on the abdomen, one on the heart space. If you have room and space today for a full relaxing Shavasana, I would encourage you to take that today without guilt or shame. And if you don't, that's okay too. Maybe you will have time for it later today. Either way, we'll bring palms together either at the heart space or maybe thumbs up to the third eye. Thank you for practicing with me today. Thank yourselves for showing up. It's the most difficult thing that we can do, but you did it and I'm proud of you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you are seeing this on a Friday, I hope you have a great weekend. Otherwise, I will see you next time.